Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Air Holler with me, Herd 37. So we were just over at Washington, that was in North Carolina, and now we're at Danville, I believe, Virginia. And I flew over there, and actually, it was one of the best flights yet. The landing wasn't spectacular, it wasn't horrible either. But yeah, pretty much we went right to it, didn't have a problem this time. Stayed a little bit higher and just kept looking out, and I caught the airport, and wasn't actually too bad. So now we're going to go from Danville back to Huntington. As you can see, it pays $215,000 at only 187 miles, so gotta like that. Alright, so load this thing up. Here we go. 968, obviously we got more than enough. That'll be day flight, so let's go ahead and move on over to the plane. Alright everybody, here we are in the plane. Go ahead and check our lights, get these two on before we, actually, alright, we'll do the pushback before we start. I'll do that. So let's get this set up. We're actually going to go to Roanoke first. That's 109.4. I have this thing paused. No, I know it's probably not going to change, is it? Because I don't have. Well, if I could, maybe if I turn the battery on. Now is it going to let me change it? Yeah, there we go. 109.4. I could turn the APU on. Let's. Then we're going to go to Beckley, 117.7, and then we're going to have an NDB. It's right before you get to the runway at Huntington, and that is 3790. Alright, 379, so we get way past it. 3790, I'll go ahead and turn this one to it too. No, we don't really need to. But I like to have both of them so I can switch number one over to nav or VOR. Let's see, 379. There we go. I don't think we have to talk to these people. We're gonna be taking off on runway 20. Yeah, so I don't want to talk to them because I'd have to talk to them and then come over and talk to the local traffic. Alright, let's go ahead and go the parking brake. Let's get our pushback. Reset the altimeter. Runway 20. Okay, so I believe it's right over here. I'll show you all what it looks like outside. It's a small airport. Came in from right over here. Technically, I shouldn't have. I did it by ILS, and actually, the ILS actually worked. It's like only the second time I've ever. But that's because I came in good and was on the glide slope and everything. Actually, I should have been coming in here. I looked at that later at the wind. All right, as we're pushing back, I don't need to wait. I can go ahead and hit Control E. Actually, waited a little long there. I bet we're getting pushed into the grass, aren't we? I think so. We'll let it slide this time. Again. Alright, go ahead and stop it here. Alright, number one's going. Alright, you can see we're 58 miles out. I'm going to set this to runway 20, actually. That is technically the right thing to do. Oops, I hate that it goes the other way. Although that was actually technically the right way now that I look at it. If you hit it with the mouse wheel, it goes by itself automatically and doesn't stop. Alright, because then we're going to actually be going 330 after we take off to get to Roanoke. Alright, so all 3 engines are good. This number 3 settles down. Alright, parking brake is off. Let's head on over. There are taxi lights. I actually didn't have a... I thought I might have a slight problem on the last one getting off. I figured I would. I figured I would get off the ground easily, and I did. Used a fair amount of trim, and actually we got it up really easy, actually. But I didn't really figure it would be too much of a problem. I don't know if we had a load in there, it might have been a problem. You know, throw in another 60,000 pounds, 30 tons. It could have been a little different. I was thinking about just burning through this runway, but I guess technically we'll stop. There's nobody coming. Alright, let's hop on across this. So hopefully we'll do a much better job this time. Man, that last one, that was terrible. Got all distracted, trying to do too much, stalled it, recovered, and then a crappy landing. It wasn't a crappy landing, but it was long, it was way to the right. And another thing I want to try is landing without the shakes. I think that could actually help a lot. Because I think it's a little too unrealistic. It moves too much. I wanted to try doing that without it. See what happens. Alright, here we are, runway 20. Let's stop right here. Alright. 3 notches of flaps. Let's trim this. I doubt anyone's coming. Landing lights on. Taxi lights will turn off. Well, I'll leave them on. I guess you don't really have to. Some people do it either way. I don't really know. This is going to be a short flight. Was it 184 miles or so? So I don't know how high we'll go. It's not really necessary to go very high at all. And that screwed us up on that last one as well. Last flight, I stayed at like 10,000 feet for the most part. Alright. Let's go ahead and just take off. Get the radio stack off, we don't really need it. Airspeed's alive. Man, this thing feels like it's dancing. Bring that back up. 80 knots. 100 knots. 120, sorry. 140, we should be good. Alright, positive rate. Gear up. Move 1 notch of flaps. Climb on out. Make our right turn. We need to go to 330. Second notch of flaps retracted. And the third. Pull back a little bit on the throttle. Need more hands, I'll tell you that. Nose is a little high. Sorry if I'm too quiet, just kind of concentrating. Just trying to keep that speed as well below 250 knots. Get a little bit sharper turn. The nose up, that speed. Alright. See, I hate this yoke, man. Why? I wish they would have made it so you could get rid of that damn thing. Because I really need these knobs. Maybe stop the shakes as well. See, there's too much going on. Get this going. Hurry up, because... Alright. Just too much to do, you know? Bring that down, get rid of the shakes. Alright, now we're better. Alright. We're about to hit 10,000. Add a little more thrust. Landing lights are off. Landing lights, or taxi lights, I'm sorry, off. So when I gotta take my right hand off, man, we get crazy. Alright. Like I said, it was only 180 miles, something like that, so we're not going to go very high. I'm thinking maybe 15,000 feet should be probably enough. I didn't put the altitude alert on. Screw that, it doesn't matter. Trying to keep it right around 3,000 feet as we jump right there. Trying to be smooth with it. Trying to trim it down. The problem I've had, when you hit the trim, or at least when it's an autopilot, you hit the trim at all, and the freaking, it doesn't stop it. Like, I don't know how to explain it exactly. Like, it'll keep rolling. So you just hit the trim a little bit, man. It's just, well, I don't know why I'm using that. We obviously don't have autopilot engaged. I will go ahead and engage it, so you can use the altitude hold. I went past it. Put it on the nav. Need to adjust this a little bit. Alright, that's about right on it. Bring back on the throttle so we don't overspeed, because now we got to descend a couple hundred feet. Alright, 43 miles out. Probably gonna have to do this anyway. We actually let it go away a little over 15,000 before I hit the altitude hold anyway. Alright, 15,000. We'll go ahead and hit it. Should hold better this time. Alright, 40 miles out from Roanoke. Then we'll head over to Beckley, and then we'll be at the airport. So I'll go ahead and speed it up, and be back in just a bit. Alright guys, I'm back. We leveled off at 6,000 feet, as you can see. I've got 108.7 as the ILS frequency. Nothing coming up on that. The NDB is 379, and you can see I've got it set on both of them, and I've got nav 2. Even though I switched that one over, still, we got nothing. We are at the right heading though, 304, and if you follow that heading, we should end up right at the airport, landing on runway 30. That's basically a straight shot from Beckley, where we're going. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of odd. Man, Beckley to Huntington is not very far at all, especially in the air, and yet we have, like, nothing. Just kind of concerning. Because, like I say, Beckley to Huntington is, not very far by car, and even shorter, obviously, by air. We should come right up on it. I don't even see the river. Although, well, I guess the Ohio doesn't really go this way. Doesn't really go to Beckley. So, I don't know. We should be close. It's just kind of odd that we're not getting anything at all. I set that one to VOR for the ILS, and this one for the NDB, 379.00 at 303, heading 304. I don't know. I'll go ahead and speed it up a little bit. But as you can see, I raised myself up in the cockpit so I can see better. I'll just put it at 2x. This way we're not too high either. This way I descended early. I thought, you know, once we get to Beckley, you got to. It shouldn't be far at all. It's just kind of interesting. I don't see anything at all. Come on, something show up. I would love it if I could just get anything. Something to tell me I'm at least in the right area. I don't want to hit the GPS. That seems like cheating. And it's only 184 miles. How the hell can we be off? Very much at all. And we've been on right on our navigation. And it's just straight on. When I do remember that when I made the flight plan, it is straight. And I don't see any landmarks. Know of any landmarks. I don't know what body of water, what river this is. It's definitely not the Ohio. I forget the name of the river that cuts through. Very famous through the gorge. Unless that is the New River Gorge. I guess that could be it. It's the New River. Yeah, how the hell do we have nothing? I don't get it. Let it run for a little bit longer. Like I say, I don't want to hit the GPS. I would think that we would get an NDB signal when we're at Beckley. Because, like I say, it's not very far. River over here, some river over here. That's a little bit bigger. Maybe that could be the Ohio. I don't know. The Ohio should be on our right, and we should have Ohio, and I can't remember the name of the iCal for that other one. Lawrence County Airport. But there, I don't see any civilization through here either. Which there isn't really from, really. I mean, you go from, the way you drive is from Huntington to Charleston over to Beckley on the turnpike. Well, Huntington to Charleston on I-64, and they hit the turnpike to Beckley through to the mountains, which is kind of fun, but it's not all that far. Alright, here, our NDB just came up. It's about 3-1, right? That should be about right. And yeah, we just got the ILS. That VOR just came up on our nav. I shouldn't say VOR. I don't know what I should really say. Like I say, landing on runway 30. The thing is, yeah, we don't have a distance either. The altitude is a little over 800 feet, so we're about 5,200 feet above. But now that I know that we're close, we actually don't need the, oh man, wrong one. Don't need the radios up anymore. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I didn't realize we went over 250. Knock off the altitude hold, pitch it down. Looking for some lights. So you can't line this up either, can you? It's kind of weird. I don't know how to do it on the ILS. Although, like I was saying, I guess you don't actually. So we'll take it down to about 5,000 feet. That way we're, what, 4,200 above? Right around that. I'd tick this over 1 or 2. There we go. 1. Maybe that's the Ohio over there. So that would be Ohio, the Ohio River, and Ohio over here. I don't know what we'll... Here, we're just... We're very, very close. You see the glide slope is alive. Okay, I think we're just sending a little too quick. It says we need to get to the right. And I know we do because we're coming in just slightly to the left. Could it be over here? Set the altitude hold right here. I'm going to put out a notch of flaps. I'm thinking it's it right there. I'm almost positive now the way the land is looking. Slow her down a little bit. Another notch of flaps. Alright, that's got to be it. Coming up on the glide slope. Alright. Let's see if she takes us down. Watch our speed a little bit. It's weird, I haven't seen any lights flash yet. There, we just saw the lights flash. Alright, so we're locked on apparently. Well, we don't have the heading select, so that's why. Doesn't really seem to be bringing us down. We're above the glide slope now. Thanks for nothing, ILS. Our speed is too low. Gear is down. A little more flaps. Alright, so since the ILS isn't bringing us down, we need to go ahead and get down because we're above the glide slope. A little more flaps. Come out to the right and get ourselves lined up. We need to bring our speed up as well. A little more throttle. Watch that speed. Alright, we're going full flaps. Man, we just cannot get to the glide slope. Although it's not like we're off by far. I like a better visual of the runway. We need to get a little bit more right. We're gonna come in at an angle doing it this way. Alright, catching up to the glide slope now. The speed is good, but that means we're gonna have to get on a little bit. As we stop diving down. Sorry if I'm being quiet, just trying to, you know, obviously. This is about the best lineup we've ever had in this plane. Speed and everything. We're pitched perfectly, trimmed perfectly, I should say. Maybe slightly go pitch down a little bit.
Don't sink.
Settle myself in the cockpit, I can see much better now.
Don't sink.
I don't know why we always get that warning. Alright, we need to come up a little bit now.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Don't let that thing fool you. It says you need to come up a little bit and then you'll have to end up diving down again.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
A little low.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
There, it wants me to dive down again. I hate that.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
One more throttle.
Don't sink.
I'm having trouble keeping the
sink.
speed now.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
See, we
Don't
get
sink.
high at the very last minute.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Little marker.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Our speed got a
Don't sink.
little high.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Floated it. Now we stalled out. I guess I pitched it up enough at the end where, man, it's just, I think the thing I find hardest is gauging how close we are to the ground. It just seems like it's like, oh my god, we're gonna hit the ground, and no, it's like, no, you're way too high. You're still 50 feet off the ground. Luckily, I don't know how we didn't stall. I pitched it up at the last second, and it did feel like it come down kind of late. Wasn't what I wanted at all. It wasn't bad. It was better. And hey, we found the airport. Flew right to it. That's progress. I think we're getting better at that, and I had it lined up a lot better. I don't know why the ILS didn't work. Worked on the last one, which of course wasn't even recorded. Alright, so flaps are fully retracted, landing lights are off, taxi lights are on. Back home in Huntington. Just only bad thing was kind of the landing, floating it long. Like I say, it's just I can't tell how high up I am, especially with without a ground proximity warning, which you can put in air hauler It'll give you one if your plane doesn't have one, but I don't know. It just seems like cheating to me because the 727 didn't have one, so I don't want to use one. Trying to keep it realistic to the aircraft. Alright, we'll park right over here as usual. Alright. Pull in right over here. That should be pretty good. Nah. Decent, I guess. I don't know what is over there. I wonder where FedEx keeps their plane. I mean, obviously, that probably doesn't have buildings like that. No, it's not the exact layout, but I would like to know. I'm curious about that. Landing lights off. Turn these off. Because there's a FedEx right down the hill. Airport's on a hill, and there's a FedEx on the way down. Alright, engines are off. These are off. That was kind of weird. It didn't want to go on without its friend. Alright, everything's off. Let's go over to air hauler and check out what we get. Alright. Obviously no damage. Let's unload our cargo. Get paid. At least we haven't had any damage in a while, it seems like. Getting better, I guess, at landing and not totally screwing everything up. Just gotta get better with the telling how far you are off the ground. Although it's so much easier in real life, obviously, but I don't know. Try to get better at that. We're in Huntington. I think our next one, unless it spawns up or generates some new jobs, next Lansing. 280 miles, 292 grand. That's pretty much our best option and almost a day to do it. So, it looks like, is there a Lansing job coming back? That would be awesome. Oh, Lansing to Charlotte. Ooh, and it pays $357, and Charlotte is pretty daggone close. Might have to do that, go to Lansing, then get a nice paying job back without having to relocate. And then Charlotte is one of our bases, obviously. And if nothing else, that would be a long one for us in this plane. I mean, we can do it. It saves 443. We can fit the cargo in. Might do it. It's a long one for us in this plane, doing it the way we do it, but I might try for it. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, everybody. And, well, I'll catch you on the next flight.